Good evening, Steelers. Back again with these little Prussian fellas. This is our evening tonight. It's just going to be. I'm going to try to break the back of much as possible of these because I'm off to Scotland tomorrow for a couple of days. Well, for a day or so. So I won't be able to. I won't get back to these until Friday. I would have thought. But let's just see what we do. No promises. If you're online, do say hi in the chat, of course. Well, let's get cracking, shall we? There's no point just sitting staring at them. First thing I want to do was the smallish stuff, which is, excuse me, is grey. I mean, neutral grey. First of all, just for some, for doing there. There's a couple that I've got overcoats on, so I just want to get those painted. I mean, I'm not going to get these finished until Friday. Hey there, Bjorn. Good to have you aboard. As always, don't forget, smash that like button. If you're watching from here, I will show you tiny if I have to get more likes. Right, let's just find the ones that have got the. I've actually got the overcoats on. There's only a couple of them in here, I think. I can see one of them from here. The other ones are all wearing backpacks by the looks of it, so it's just this one chap here. Evening, Thomas. Evening, Leslie. Thank you, Leslie. Good man for watching. 4 likes. What we like to see. All good stuff. So yeah, I'm just doing the grey coats. No, see, not overcoats. Just 1 or 2 of these figures have just got them wrapped around them, which I guess in the summer of 1815 probably didn't get a great deal of use, to be honest. I wouldn't have thought anyway. Hi Thomas, hi Andrew, good to have you on. The thing I've got to do tonight that I've been kind of putting off is the white of the crossbelts and stuff. So that's going to be a bit of a pain, but they're half painted white anyway. So it won't take too long. And then it's the muskets and things, and also the green of the cuffs, collars, sorry, and their hat bands. They need to be done as well. So, have I decided about shakos and bayonets? No, I haven't. Simply because of the cost of it at the moment. I've had a little bit of a windfall this month, and I've ended up with a lot more money than I thought I had at the start of the month, for various reasons. Evening, Steve. And I've kind of thought about. I've been thinking about it, but £55 to drop on something that I've got no real idea about is quite a lot of money. I think it seems to be a bit of a mixed reaction when I asked on Twitter. Some people say it's great, some people not so. And if you've already got something like short practice, my bases are kind of already covered. I was kind of thinking, to be honest, to do a video on it more than anything else, just as something different. But then, having said that, I was just thinking tonight that my next game might actually be a Through the Mud and Blood game, because I don't think I've ever played that on the channel, and I haven't played it for years, and I kind of want to see what it's like from what I remember now, having played Lardy games for the last. I mean, the last time we played it was over 5 years ago, and I really didn't understand the Lardy system at the time. You know, the having big men and the friction of the moves, and it's a relatively simple game, really, because it's pretty similar to most of the other Lardy games. But I went and prepared tons of things for it, cards and stuff. Mud and Blood is well, yes, it is, yeah. It's their specific platoon level First World War game. Basically set on the historical research of Paddy Griffiths and Bruce Goodmanson, really. Oops, I'm making a bit of a hash of these in a moment. But I can clean them up later on, no problem. Very similar to Sharp Practice. Has all the same nuances, just presented differently. Yeah, exactly. It's card driven, isn't it? Sydney Roundwood did a ton of cards for it, which I dutifully cut out and put together, and I've got a massive collection of. As I say, we've not played it for 5 years. When we first played it, we just didn't know what to do with it. We couldn't understand it. It was like there's just too much going on here. But as I say, now I've got more used to the way that Lardy games work and that whole friction going on and things. I think it might be quite an interesting experience. I've never played a World War I game because it seems to be rushes out of trench into machine gun fire. No. No. And another no. Absolutely not. That's a really old school way of thinking about First World War. In fact, soldiers very rarely ran into machine gun fire, to be honest. But by 1917, the platoon level tactics had changed massively. So they're more in line with modern day infantry tactics. So the British infantry, for example, developed SS 143, which was a training manual, my favourite training manual. Get it into any conversation I can, where they split the platoon into two types of units, and into 4 different sections. So you've got rifles, rifle grenadiers, bombers, and the Lewis section, each of about 8 to 9 men. And they worked in conjunction together to move forward in rushes, while the Lewis gun gave covering fire and the rifle grenadiers gave local artillery support. And then you've got, on the other side of the wire, you've got the Germans going from defending trenches on the front of a slope to defending trenches on the rear of a slope. And then they started, instead of actual trench lines, they had shell craters that they just joined up with shells, so that with interlocking fire and strong points. So it's a case of knocking out strong points, very similar to a lot of the stuff in the Second World War, really. Command and control can be card driven, making cards to pull out of a bag, easier to shuffle, a cheaper troop, and always more brittle. That is true. It's always true anyway. But yeah, it's wargamers sometimes don't give the First World War the amount of attention it really deserves as a wargaming period. That's what I was talking to Ivan of Nordic Weasel Games about the other day when he was on the channel. We were talking about the old view of it, really. Mud and Blood is very good because it tells you as well it basically details all the historical units as well, so that's always good. No, don't worry, Tommy. You're not the first to have said the same thing. Really, a lot of people see it as definitely as a period to avoid for some reason. Like in Donald Featherstone's books, some of the old ones that he wrote, there's pages and pages and chapters devoted to the Second World War and the Napoleonic, and then 2 lines devoted to the First World War. Yeah, it's not just trench raids. Have a look at the one of my latest videos, the one on Mons in 1918. I'll give you an idea of the kind of tactics that were being used by the late war anyway. I hate painting crossbelts. Yeah, as they say, I understand Sharp Practice. I do, yeah, definitely now. More so than I did. I've had about 3 or 4 games of it now, and it's starting to sink in what you can do and what you can't do with the cards, and using the card combos and stuff. So yeah, I would like to have another think about Mud and Blood, because I know there's a good game under there. I just haven't played it yet. If that makes sense. it's one that definitely rewards the tactics of the time. I always knew there was more to know than what they primarily promote in mainstream history books. Yeah, absolutely. 1914 Germans on the patent table at the moment. Excellent, good stuff. Well, a good start, Thomas, would be to read Gary Sheffield's Forgotten Victory. It's quite an old book now, but it's very good, and it gives you a good introduction to modern revisionist scholarly First World War history. It'll change everything you thought you knew about the war, and it's a very readable account as well. It's very good. It's a great introductory book. I'll look into that. Certainly do. Oh, that's a problem with painting Napoleonics. It's these bloody cross belts and things. But I'm doing them relatively messily, and I can always cut them in later on when I do the highlighting and things. These are not figures that are meant to be stared at in a museum case, are they? They're meant to be pushed around our table. But the Prussians are surprisingly easy to paint. They're quite nice. Not a great deal of colours on them, well, especially the Landwehr anyway. Ruling class, elite, embarrassed that are misuse to the people of war. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, it's just the war, what it was, the influences of the modern perceptions of the First World War really come from only one or two sources. One of them is A.J.P. Taylor's book, The Great War Illustrated, or is it the First World War Illustrated? And the other one is Alan Clark's The Donkeys. We also have the film Oh, What a Lovely War, and the play beforehand as well. And they all came out in the 1960s, and all of them were basically, H.A.P. Taylor was a Quaker, so he was anti-war anyway. His family were very much anti-war in the Second World War. That kind of shows in the book. Oh, What a Lovely War was written as a stage play, but has kind of become synonymous with the history of the war poets as well. So people like Wilfred Owen and Siegfried Sassoon and stuff. How you doing, Sean? It's about 1 billion degrees here as well. And then, Alan Clark wrote The Donkeys, I think in 1960 it was, and he wrote it. And he said when he wrote it, he actually wanted a bestseller so he could kickstart his writing career, and it did. And he used Basil Littlehart's collection of material to go through to write the book. And then when Littlehart read the manuscript, he very much advisedly asked Alan Clark to rewrite parts of it because he just absolutely bashed Dougie Haig, and he said this is just too much. This is nowhere near realistic. But Alan Clark wouldn't listen. He said he wanted a bestseller. He wrote a controversial bestseller, and unfortunately, to this day, it still is a bestseller. Annoyingly, because it's rubbish. He doesn't cite a single source. He doesn't. It's journalism at the worst. Journalistic, should I say? Not journalism as it was. Journalism can be good, but this isn't. And he didn't really care. He just wanted to write something that would give him money and get him on that road to writing. And then stuff like, in our times, things like Blackadder Goes Forth is massively influential, especially for the last 30 years. But all of Blackadder Goes Forth, weirdly enough, people see it as a history, but it's just a comedy. And most based on what you call it, on Oh, what a lovely war anyway. It came up on my computer and I wasn't sure what it was. Right, well that's the white, and I'm going to do the green as well now. God, I am sweating cob, absolutely. It's running down my back at the moment. It's just too much. I was hoping though it was going to rain. It feels like it's going to rain. Come on, 6 likes, 11 people watching. Hammer that like button. Spent some of the day making haymaking on 30 degrees low. That's somebody who knows how to deal with the sun, with the heat. Look, we've got to get some likes for Tiny. Definitely, she's worth at least 4 more likes. Look at her, laid out like that, lazy little get. Should get her to work. Book by Arthur Guy, MP, called Over the Top. He was a soldier in the war, great first-hand account. I'm sure it is. I don't know myself, but there are quite a lot of first-hand accounts out there to pick and choose from. Of course, our man Nigel Atter, he's not in today, but he's a published historian of the First World War. He knows his onions. Right, now I'm doing the green on the hat belts, along with the collars. Another little fussy tiny bit. It's really annoying. Your animals are the same, Leslie. Yeah. I don't know if they like it or not. I can't tell. They don't ever seem to express an opinion. Right, my aim for tonight is to get these painted and agraxed up, so that probably on Friday night I might be able to get them finished. That's my plan. And today I also bought a hex playing mat for Bag the Hun, along with some Japanese Zeros, Nakajima NI43s, and some Brewster Buffaloes, because I've already got some Hurricanes, and they will all be used in the skies above Malaya. You hate cats? Well, you're on the wrong channel. Nigel and I are working for the Square Bashing Scenario for Lose. Excellent. Let me know when you finish this show. I'd like to have a look at that. That'd be pretty good. That. Both are great. That's true. We have both, along with chickens and sheep, pigs and chickens here too. Everybody's got animals. We just have the cats. We used to have a rabbit, but she had to be put to sleep at Christmas. She was very old. She had a great life, though. She was a right little rascal. AK-47 at the moment. Yeah, Sean, you butterfly. Just choose one. Stop jumping about. And yeah, I also bought some flight stands, or some material for making flight stands at least. So it struck me today that although some manufacturers do make flight stands, none of the manufacturers that make aeroplanes make flight stands. You thought they would have done that, wouldn't you? I just would have thought I'd made it into a one-stop shop. Our neighbour had rabbits for eating. Yeah, well, Gaga wasn't for eating. She tried to eat us plenty of times. It was cool. They used to hang out with the cats, all the little animals together. Sorry, just concentrating on these ones. Nearly done. Yeah, people still eat rabbits these days, don't well, as Leslie has said there. Not so much in the UK now, but people do go out rabbiting and eat them. I suppose the problem is myxomatosis. Don't really want to be eating mixy rabbits. I think rabbit meat is quite prevalent in France anyway, isn't it? I've certainly been to restaurants where it's been on the menu. I think I've probably been served some as well in Murray Woods. Some mystery meat anyway, whatever it was. Eric says, I enjoyed Ridge, Fort Dumont, Verdun, and a large French World War I cemetery. I think these are overlooked. Yeah, I've never been down to Verdun. I would like to go. I do manage to call into Vimy pretty much every time in France because it's kind of on the way to wherever it is we're going, especially if we went to Boulecourt or somewhere like that. It's a nice little stop off for the veterans to go and have a look. The script of the what you call the guides is leaves a little to be desired. But you know, they're not historians; they're just there to say what they've been told to say. Navy sailing ships use guinea pigs for food and rabbits. Both reproduce very quickly. Guinea pig, a friend of mine told me, is very greasy but tastes like chicken. He worked in Central America doing some archaeology one time, and I think they served him some guinea pig there. He said it was very greasy. It's just we have different ideas about animals, don't we? I mean, you know, people eat pigs and cows in the UK with a few qualms, unless you're a vegetarian or a vegan. We turn our nose up at eating dogs and cats. Strange. A lot of French from the farms around here died at Verdun. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Big battle for the French. It was meant to bleed the French army white. How many have gone on? 13 and 11 likes. That's good. There's two of you there. Need to up your game. Smash that button. Ew. What was that at, Andrew? People eating dogs and cats? I'm not saying it should happen. I'm just saying, you know, depends on the level of hunger. Yeah. Germans at Stalingrad eating horses. To be fair, if we were in a situation where everybody was starving, I think the cats would probably eat me before I ate them. Fatty certainly would. She'd have no qualms about it. Oof. It makes it hard to think in this heat. But I'm heading up to Scotland, as I said, tomorrow. I'm going to go and look at a First World War anti-aircraft battery that needs some protective works doing on it. So that's for work, so that'll be good. I'll meet the chaps up there. Have a chat about what we can and can't do with it. It's going to take some nice photos. Yeah, Andrew, my cats would certainly eat me first. I do hope that the weather stays like it is and it's not raining up at Edinburgh. You never can tell. Restoration project, kind of half and half. It's a I think it's one of 3 in the UK, and it's at DM Crombie, which is the Defence Munitions place just outside of Edinburgh, and it was scheduled, I think, in about 2018, from what I recall from the notes. And one of the guys at the base put in a request for some money to do some cleaning up of it, so basically scrub removal, and they want to put in a path leading up to it as well, so there's better access and things like that. So it's been heaped over to me since I'm the archaeologist. Am I driving? I'll be driving. It's about 4.5 hours if I don't get caught in Edinburgh traffic. So I'm going to drive up tomorrow afternoon, stay over the night, go and have the meeting on Thursday, and then drive back. So I should be back Thursday evening, but I'll probably be too tired to do any painting or anything. That's what I said. These will get finished on Friday instead. But yeah, it should be an interesting thing. I'm going to write well, it already is a historical monument. It's already there. Nice summer's day here tomorrow. Sunshine from horizon to horizon. Lovely. Yeah, it's already a historical monument. It's already been recognised. As I say, it's been scheduled. So it's protected by law. So I need to talk to Historic Environment Scotland, who look after these monuments in Scotland, and decide what we can and can't do with it. As I say, I'm also going to write an article about it as well for our Sanctuary magazine, if they accept my article idea. That's one of the things I want to get photos for. So I can, because we always have to write. We have to write articles for Sanctuary. The last one I did was about the Polish armour up at Kukubry. Somebody gave me a load of great photos of the Poles training in Honey Stewart's in 1943 in Scotland. So I use those in the article. Great stuff. Schedule for me? No. It's a scheduled monument. No, it's definitely staying where it is now. It's scheduled. It's one of many monuments I didn't even know existed until about 3 weeks ago. Because there's so many on our estate, you don't know where they are, and they just pop up left, right, and centre. We'll say somebody wanted to do something with it. Evening, Ken. How are you doing, Travis? Good to see you both. Here to listen to me wittering on while I get these tiny fellas painted. But yeah, it's going to be nice to get out actually, because the house is currently being damp proofed as well. So it's a building site downstairs. So it'd just be nice to get away from the house for a little bit, if nothing else. And it's always a pleasure to go to Edinburgh. But having had the week off, I'm expecting an inbox full tomorrow morning. So I have to work my way through all that first of all. And then get on the road. How are things in Yorkshire TV land? Good question. How are things in Yorkshire TV land? Ken won't be around for too long because I'm using this wet palette. And yes, I pulled all the cress out of it before you start. Excuse me. I just had my dinner before I started this. I'm running late because I'm currently relying on takeaways because the kitchen is in pieces. Hey, Tom. Good to see you. I'm good, thanks. How are you? Any more on those? I don't think so. I want to try and get these Prussians as quick as possible so I can play some games with them. Got something a bit different to the British and the Nassau that is all I'm using at the moment with the sharp practice. Also, I'll be making some videos on on Bag the Hun as well at some point when the hex mat turns up. I knew I was going to buy one. It was just a matter of time, to be perfectly honest. I shouldn't have really allowed myself to not buy one. Thing is, I'll only ever use it for for Bag the Hun. So I don't use many hex-based games. You never know, I might do. But I like Bag the Hun, so we're all right. I need to get you an interview for Tabletop Gaming News. Absolutely, anytime you want, man. 100%. Just give me a shout. Always happy for interviews. Always happy to appear on any podcasts. Hint. So I'm doing very well, thanks. Although now I've got a huge Amazon list recommended books. Are they First World War ones by any chance, Tom? I should hope so. We were just talking about the First World War earlier. What's everyone painting tonight? That's always a interesting one. See what we're doing on a Tuesday night. Or is anyone painting? I was going to do a live stream last night actually, but the work in the house ended up going on till 8 o'clock, and by which time I was knackered. I didn't have any food, and I was grumpy, so I decided not to. And I thought, as I can't go and watch HQ section, German Army, World War II. Sorry, Alex, I was talking to Agent about the podcast. He must be a secret agent, Ken, because I don't think I've ever met him. 15mm War of the Roses Yorkies, Bloody Barons. I always fancied to go to Bloody Barons, finish your Bavarians, working on Westphalians. Hey, Westphalian brothers. Same here. Working on magnetising all the bases for 7 years war armies, which I've done this before. The better late than never, absolutely. It's always the best ideas always come late. There's nothing wrong with that. It's always interesting just to see what everybody else is doing. Really, what the wide amount of work that's going on different things. Yeah, some of it's stuff I just completely out of my eye line. I don't even think about it. 7 years war, I know it exists, but I know Banjak's all about it. Always looks impressive though on the table. War of the Roses, yes. WRT is War of the Roses. That's right. Billy Goat War Games fault, of course it is. Putting flags on 15mm AWI. There you go. Look, it's such a wide range of history. Still working on Marders and Hetzers. Excellent. Stretching all the way back. What we need is somebody painting Paleolithic hunter-gatherers. I know we've got the full gamut of human history in one chat. I think there is a prehistoric set of war game rules, isn't there? Can't remember what it's called now. I'm sure somebody knows it. Oh. Mass battle, caveman battles. Yeah. That's what we want. Caveman wars. Painting 1810 light dragoons and M&T war for 1812. Cool. Muskets and tomahawks. That's M&T, isn't it? I've been looking at that for the Napoleonic one. Just as another set of rules to use these figures for, really. Tusk from Irregular. There you go. I knew somebody would know it. A great name for a set of rules. Tusk. Come on, little fellas. Nearly there with you. There's not a great deal left to do on these now, I don't think. I'm trying to think what's next. The good metal for the and then a bit of gold on the offices, always with the gold. Any World War One monuments? Italian war carts exist. Any war that's on a par with the mountain line at Waterloo? Yes, 100%. There is the memorial to the missing at Thiepval, absolutely huge. There is the Vimy Ridge Memorial. That is also massive as well. There'll be French ones as well, which I'm not particularly aware of. Probably down around Verdun, which will be massive. But those are the two at least I know of. I mean, the Somme, in particular, and around Ypres is absolutely covered in memorials to the British Army, at least. Occasional German and occasional French ones as well around. But yeah, they're equally as big. Google them. And the Menin Gate as well at Ypres is a pretty big edifice. War of 1812 is Napoleonic in North America. Yeah, it's quite a popular period, isn't it? Actually, that one. Bucket list. Yeah. I've never been to Waterloo, Thomas. It's on my list, and I was going to go last year, but obviously we got locked down. But it is it's definitely on the list of places to go, because I've been interested in the Napoleonic Wars since I was a nipper. And Douai-Montossery, yes, there you go. It's one of those things that it's like literally almost on the doorstep. It's probably about a 5-hour drive away from where I am now. Most of that would be in the UK. So it's an easy place to get to, really. I just kept saying to my wife, I'm going to go one day. And then I had the money, and then we had lockdown. And she kept saying, oh, I'm not going to come with you, because I said I'm going to go, and I'm going to spend 3 or 4 days just looking at fields. And that's all it's going to be. I said, you're welcome to come, but if you come and moan. It's about the same from you, Leslie. Whereabouts in France are you, Leslie? Further down south. Not in the Dordogne, are you? But yeah, it's and there's plenty of places to stay around there. It's not in the middle of nowhere, is it? And I think you can even stay in thingy, can't you? Hougoumont Farm, I think. I don't know how much it is, but I think they've converted some part of it at least. No, Normandy. Ah, right. Yes. Years ago, we did a field trip, went to the Somme, and then drove out to Brittany through Normandy. That's really the only time I've been to Normandy. 5 hours as we drove past it. Went past Mont Saint Michel and places. You forget, well, you don't realise how big France actually is until you start driving across it. Me and the wife drove down to the Dordogne for our honeymoon a few years ago. It just takes forever. I had to break it up. We had to stop in Tours and in New Orleans. Sorry, Orleans, not New Orleans. Old Orleans. Or Lyon, should I say. You live in the countryside, yeah. Bocard in the backyard, maybe. Yeah, at least you're close to the Normandy beaches, which I'm sure you've probably been to 1,000 times. Again, that's another place I would like to go. I've never been. I just drove past it, really. I stopped and had a quick look in one of the museums, and that's all we had time for. It took forever to get there. But you really need a long time to explore those places if you're doing it in any level, rather than jumping on a coach and getting off and then getting back on again. Like our Lezo's a great supplier of homemade Calvados. The final German counterattack before the German ran for the Falaise Gap. Excellent. So you must be quite surrounded by quite a lot of history there then. So you got a lot of English tourists, British tourists, and American tourists coming through. So it struck me as a very nice place to live, France. It's got a nice laid back way of life, especially in the countryside. What are we talking about? I never realised how big the bocages are. Yeah, huge things. As big as your house. Hey, I've nearly done these. That's good. I'm not far off them. So this is going to be, when these are finished, that will be 3 groups of 6 skirmishers. And I think I've got 3 or I can't remember, it's 3 or 4 groups of 8 Landwehr. So they'll be the next ones on the list. And I've also got a couple of groups of Uhlans as well. So I'll be looking forward to getting them painted. So it'll be interesting. No, I'm not. A little while yet. Good to have you here. Sean keeps on promising to visit. Yeah, lots in a more normal summer. Yeah, I can imagine. This year, visit all the beach on D-Day. There were no crowds. I bet that was nice. Different experience altogether, I would have thought. I bet it gets very busy, even just as a tourist destination for the French. Go to the beach. They are nice beaches. So the Calvo will be good for your cold. So there you go, doctor's orders, right there. You need to get yourself down there. Just looking across at Tiny. She's not doing anything. I just got confused then. I thought I was painting I forgot I was painting the gun barrels. I thought I was actually painting the stocks. I was looking at these 4 over here. I was thinking I've finished those already. Why are they there? I realise it's the barrels I'm painting. It's the heat. It's driving me mad. You mean you haven't drunk it, Sean? Shame. Want to get it down, yeah? We've got a cold. Just trying to think of what else there is on these to do. I think it's just the gold on the officers. I might just neaten up some of the blue on a couple of these as well. Where I've knackered up the cross belts, but then they'll be ready for the agraxing. The problem solver. The greatest gift to humanity since, I don't know, sliced bread. Bar mitzvahs and New Year's Eve. Sorry, folks, just gone quiet while I'm concentrating. I can't believe how good these AB figures are. Oh, lovely. Allergic to bar mitzvahs? No, not at all. I've never been to one though. Okay, that's the last one of them. So just do some gold, and I'm going to neaten up some of that white, I think, and then I'm done. Have I tried Games of Workshop washers? Yeah, Nuln Oil. I use Nuln Oil a lot. I like it for vehicles. In particular, Allied and Russian vehicles. The green that they're painted in, it really works Really works well. These figures, no, these are 18mm or 28. Look, they're only that big. I've tried the GW contrast paints, but they're just inks, aren't they? Really thick inks. They didn't particularly speed up any of my painting. They weren't the miracle that they were supposed to be. They were. Yeah, I didn't like them really. I just thought I can get the same results just by normal painting. I've tried the other wash. Is it sepia, seraphim sepia? But I find that a little bit orange. It's all right, but it's just not good enough. I just like Agrax. It's just a great colour, in my opinion. Have I pulled the trigger on the gold plater skirmish rules? 50 quid, I think you said. That's 49 points down working men's. If nobody from the other side of the pond can understand Yorkshire, Ken is saying working men's club. I haven't pulled the trigger on them, Ken. I'm still thinking about it. So as I said, 50 quid is quite a lot to throw down on something. But I was thinking about this the other night as I was laid in bed, unable to sleep for one reason or other. What was it? We pay a lot for rules in general, unless they're Osprey. And on average, most rules are about 25 quid. And I probably wouldn't pay that for a book, like a reference book. But then I think, well, with rules, you use them over and over again. You're always using them. You're going back to them. You think, like, 25 quid is a lot of money to spend, but every game you play, you're reading the book, or you probably read it before you play a game. So you're actually going through it a lot more than you would any other book that you would buy, I would have thought. I don't know what other people think about the same thing. I just think about it. I just think you get a lot more out of a rule book, so I don't mind paying a little bit more for them. And also, obviously, because they're on limited runs as well. It's like academic books, they're always incredibly expensive because they only make a small amount of them. What did you say there, Tom? There's also now the Insta colours from Scale 75 that apparently work similar to contrast paints with a better flat coverage. Well, might be worth a look. Evening, Andy. You are late again. Don't worry, we won't punish you for it. Not tonight, anyway. I might have a look at them. But I have my own way of painting, though, Tom, to be honest. I kind of like it. I don't know why. I don't feel compelled to change it. And as I say, I found the contrast page just didn't speed things up. I still had to put the same amount of work in, really, and I didn't really like the look of it at the end. I mean, if you're new to painting, then grand, try them out. But if you, I mind all the 15mm figures like I'm painting them now. So maybe it is worth a look. Maybe it will change my technique. Those rules, and there you go, sitting on the fence. What you say makes sense. Why change if you do? Exactly. That's what I mean. It's like you've got to learn a new technique, haven't you? So I already know one that I like and doesn't do much for me. A friend of mine got some really nice. I think they're almost artist paints. I think they're for modelling, but I'm not sure. I can't remember what they were called. But he's painted some Greek hoplites and Spartans with them, and they're beautiful. But then he's also he's an artist himself anyway. He's a really, really good painter. So, even if I tried using them, they'd still look shite. But his look amazing. Sorry, just doing one look at a couple of last bits on these officers. What were we saying there, Andrew? I tried the Insta colours and they were basically a good heavy wash, cheaper than contrast paints. Yeah. Well, to be honest, gold is cheaper than contrast paint, isn't it? 5 quid for a tiny bottle. But when it comes to stuff like Agrax, I don't mind paying it because I know it works. Yeah, there's a couple of them. They're just sitting in a tin over there, a box over there. I got about 4 or 5 of them, I think, just to try them out, like browns and greens. I thought they would do for Second World War stuff for 15mm. Blue, that's what I was looking for. Why didn't anybody tell me? There we are. So what I'm going to do now is just neaten up these last bits of the blue and get them in the Agrax bath. Bath full of Agrax. Who doesn't want that? Something popped there, I don't know what that was. Yeah, if I get these bits sorted out now, it's going to make highlighting them a lot easier, I shall think. Bought some contrast black to see if it helped me paint VC. Any luck? You tried using the contrast paints, but it didn't suit your painting style. Might have to give them a second one sometime in the future. Yeah, I'm not against using them again. It was one of those things. I just, I didn't see any particular benefit at the time of them. I painted up some Star Wars figures with them, I think, and yeah, they turned out all right, But like I say, didn't seem to speed things up. It's just another tool in the toolbox, isn't it? They're there if you want them. You don't want to use them, you don't have to buy them. That's what it always comes down to. Like £8 for a king on a horse. You don't want it, don't buy it. Good for painting horses and animals. Yeah, I can imagine horses being quite good with them. Over the large areas, they've got a bit of an organic look to them, haven't they? But uniforms, the problem is because they're Games Workshop as well, they have such weird names. You never know what the actual colour is until you get it home and get it onto something. You love contrast paints. I think by palette. You would do a Newton brush while drinking coffee. I think somebody's hacked your account, Ken. You're not feeling well. I think you need to see a doctor. Ken, if the young ones want to use them, then let them use them. That's what I say. I don't know if I do very well on the Yorkshire Gamer podcast quiz. TNT, Andrew? Another fashionable trend. Well, I've got one here. I'm in the fashionable trend setters. I'm currently struggling with it though. But it does, as I showed you the other night, it does paints that have been in there for a couple of weeks at this point are usable again. Oh yes, tabletop news today. Do apologise, Andrew, of course. TNT. Did you choose the name for that acronym particularly, or was it a fortunate series of circumstances? I forgot to paint his shovel on his back. You like the contrast paints? You like the finish they give? Well, good for you, Steve. If you like them, you like them. That's what I say. Whatever works for you at the end of the day, isn't it? If we were all the same, we'd all be like Ken. And I don't think anybody could face a world like that. You know what I mean? I've already tried you. This I've already tried the contrast paints, Leslie. I've been there, done that. I was there at the heady days when they were first released. I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. I'd smashed the quiz. Remember to tell the kids today there's no right or wrong. Well, there is a right or wrong because you give people a percentage score. Anyway, I've been thinking about it. I would have to answer it in two ways. I'd have to answer it for me and I'd have to answer it for you. And I think the answers would be very different. Oh, on the wet palette. Oh, of course. Yeah. Take it to the next level. Contrast paint on the wet palette. I do get amused about what people get wound up about. It's all good fun, isn't it? It's what we're here for. Well, look at that, an hour. So how long have these taken? I took what, an hour earlier in the week and another hour today, so 2 hours to do all of these. Well, to this point anyway. There's probably, once the Agrax has dried, and it will have dried by Friday, there's probably about half an hour's work to do on that of highlighting. And that'll be it. So 2.5 hours and they're done. Then on to the next. I might just do the Ulans just for a laugh. That'll be nice. A little break. Change of pace. Gotta go. See you later, Thomas. Thank you. You think you'd get less than me? Oh, Ken's quiz. Why would you want to go back to your colours after 3 weeks? Well, if you're painting the same thing, sometimes you might. I have gaps in between things, and also some of the paints I reuse a lot on things. So like the red and stuff, and white and green and yellow and brown, beige brown I use on pretty much every single figure if it's got a gun. He's let him better score though. Well, that's a good point. For an Arsenal fan, yeah, he probably wouldn't even let you put it together. Warlord Games, 28 millisecond revolutions. Good stuff. Yeah, you know, like, I mean, the blue, for instance, because I'm painting Prussians a lot at the moment, and I also use it as my base for the French, the Prussian blue. It's good to be able to reignite it and reinvigorate it instead of having to pour more paint out of the little bottle. That's the name of it, the bottle. Right, that's them pretty much done. Good points. Who's that director? That's Steve. Would have finished the current set of figures and painted something different. Well, I use a lot of, like I say, I use a lot of the same colours, like black and intermediate green gets a lot to use, beige brown, flat earth, white, if I'm doing Napoleonic, obviously. So it's useful in that manner. Okay, a little bit of Agraxing, I think, and then that's going to be me done for the night. Just on an hour. An hour is enough. Let's have a little look at Tiny again first. Of course, why not? There she is. That's about as much as she's done, wagging her tail at me. That's been her day today. What a day. What a life. But I think this particular sheet of paint is actually past its best at this point, so I'm probably going to chuck it away now anyway and start a fresh one. All that talk. Her cat's wiped out too. Tiny is lovely. She's a right little cutie. Let's get some water in there. Also, heat as well has not been very good on keeping it wet. Right, need to go and show the chickens. Good stuff. See you later, Lucy. Thanks for popping in. There might be another live stream on Friday. I think there won't. I don't think there'll be one before that, but we'll see on Friday if there is or not. So probably just finishing these fellas off. I'm just going to let that soak in for a bit. We'll come back to it later while I get some agrax in. Hardcore agrax. That's me known. There's me agrax. Oh, it certainly got hot again. Been saying that rain is going to come all day today. That's what the forecast has been, but it's not arrived yet. I wonder if it'll come in the night with thunderstorms. What I might do is I might pull out Through the Mud and Blood. I might take it up to Scotland with me actually tomorrow and have a read of it in the hotel. That might be an evening's thing to do. Generally, bugger all else to do in travel lodges, isn't there? Well, this fellow's got quite a package on him. A little bulge in his trousers there. Obviously a virile young buck. Always feels really weird just to slap the agrax on like this. She spent ages doing all the details and things. But it's such a miracle tonic. It's amazing. All for the best. Had a huge downpour about 2 hours ago in Essex. Hailstones, a lot. Wow. Maybe it's heading up north. I hope so. I don't want to water the garden. But yeah, it's been so muggy today. It really needs to break. Woke up in the middle of the night. I heard this really weird noise. I was really sleeping really well, and then all of a sudden, right in the middle of the night, there was this scratching noise, and no weird crunching noise, and it sounded like one of the cats was scratching the carpet, like they do. But it carried on. It carried on for ages, and normally they just do it for a little bit and then stop. And it just carried on. So I got up, I turned the lights on, and that little shit over there, Tiny, had got away into the biscuits, the cat biscuits bag that is currently in the upstairs toilet because of the builders downstairs. And she was just sat there merrily munching away at them. And she'd been doing it for about 10 minutes while I was laid in bed listening to her. Just sat there with a little face on her. Like, what? Don't leave them here if you don't want me to eat them. Brilliant. Well, not that brilliant because it warmed me up and kept me awake for ages. God knows where she put them, though. It just sounded so weird. I couldn't work it out at all what was going on. It's just the way she looked at me as though she wasn't doing anything wrong. So yeah, whatever. you're going to put them here. Tell me, 25 to 9. Okay. Last 3. Yeah, I think they give me. I think they give me one figure too many when I ordered these. I think they did it as well with when I got some from Blue Moon. I ordered 30 and ended up with 31. I think I ordered 18. I think I ended up with 19 skirmishes. Maybe they'll go out of business because they're giving out too many figures. Who knows? I hope they don't, because I've still got thousands of these to buy. Right, it's almost there. Well, we'll go and have a cold shower, to be honest. Right, and there. One more. And that's, I think, is me done for the night. Let's see, I'm not going to get any more done with these until Friday. I might do another live stream on Friday. We'll see how it goes. Let's see how I feel. See if I'm tired or not. And that's it, Steelers. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for giving me something to chat about with the chat. And I shall, oops, easy. What a catastrophe. I shall see you the next time I'm on the live streams. So, good night all.